Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today we're going to be building a beautiful park together in the tree-lined avenue. In this game, we are going to be collecting cards, drafting those from the table, putting them out onto a grid, and then possibly deploying our gardener in order to score victory points, attracting animals to us, trying to line up the right cards in this grid so that you can get the most points possible and hopefully complete some secret goals as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the game works. I'll show you on the table here. We'll come on back. I'll tell you what I think of it. Here we've got the game set up and ready to begin with 4 players. We're going to shuffle up the rest of these cards. All the ones begin here with a 2 down here, matching whatever trees are on the 1 at the very top. And the rest of the deck will go there, and we are going to flip over, in this case, 4 cards for 4 players. So we're going to put these out here like so, having these line up with them, and then we are going to sort them numerically. In this case, all the numbers are different, but if they were the same, they would keep their relative positions. So the 10 is going to be the lowest, is going to go to the bottom, and then the 6 would go right there, and we'll do it again on this side for the next round. So in this case, as you see, these 2 are 3s. They will keep their relative positions already, and we'll put them out like that. We're going to take the tokens from the 4-player colors. We're going to randomize them for the first round, and then we are ready to begin. So whoever is the player on the first place token there is going to be taking the first turn in the game. And on your turn, you are going to have 4 things you can do. The first one is place a gardener somewhere on one of these cards out here. But we're going to skip that. You have to skip that during your first round. It is optional, and you can do it twice in the game. With 4 players, you can do it twice. You have 2 gardeners only. But you cannot do it during the first round, so we're going to skip it. The second thing you do is you choose an area card out here, and you place it. So white is going to take one of these, and they can take whichever one they want, does not have to be the one they're next to, and they place it out here somewhere. It has to go adjacent to a card already there, but it does not have to match. So they could put it there, for example. The third step then would be resolving any actions that are on the card they just placed. There's none on that one. And then the fourth thing would be moving their action token to the position where the card was, which I've already done. Then we go to the next player. This player is going to go to this card. They're going to place it here. They're going to, again, move this token over. You can sort of have all these things happen at the same time. This player is going to go. They're going to take this one. They're going to put this out there. They could then do the special ability. In this case, they could relocate a gardener, but there aren't any out there. And then this player is going to go, and they'll put this somewhere. If you go somewhere where there is an animal, like this, the animal just remains on that card, unowned. That is no one's animal right now. And once that's done, again, they could do that ability, but they don't have a way to do it yet. These all will move over to the position in which they ended up. We are going to switch this so that we know that this is the current round, and this is the upcoming round. And then we reveal 4 new cards. And now that we've got the ability to put out some gardeners, I'll explain that to you. So we're going to do that. These 2 will keep their relative positions like so. And now we're going to be taking from this line over here. So let me explain what happens going back to the first step, okay? The first step is you can put out a gardener. You can put out a gardener anywhere out here where there isn't one already. So for example, this player could go on this card. And in fact, this card here with the number 10 is wild. It has every tree type out here. So they could go on that one there. When you do that, you can pull 2 animal tokens to you from anywhere in your column or your row that are unowned. So this player could take this squirrel right here and put it on there, and they could take this duck right here, put it right there with them. Then step 2, they can take one of these cards, and they are going to take this one. They'll put their token there, which again is the final step, but you can do it right now, and they'll put this card somewhere like that. then the next player will go, and the next player might do something similar. The next player could even go here. If you go somewhere where there already is an animal, that one stays there, and you can still pull over too. So they might pull over this fox all the way here, and then maybe this duck all the way over here. And then they'll take a card. So perhaps they want this card here, and that's going to go anywhere they want, but right there. As long as it's next to a card, it can go there. And this continues until the entire 6x6 grid has been filled. The only thing I'm largely skipping, and every player has a player aid, by the way, are the special abilities here. So let's talk about those, okay? This one that you've already seen lets you move your gardener to another position that's unoccupied. When you move, you can take up to 2 animal tiles with you. So if this player were to move, they could take 2 of those 3 there. This one lets you take an animal tile anywhere in the grid that is unowned and add it to a gardener of yours. So the player could, take, say, this squirrel here and put it there as well. You could do that if purple were to take a tile that had that ability. You've got this one here that lets you discard as many cards as you want from the upcoming turn, shuffle them back in, and then replenish and reorganize this. And then lastly, this one right here that gives you another bonus scoring card. What are the bonus scoring cards? Well, at the beginning of the game, we shuffle these little cards up and everybody gets 2. And these are going to give you some possible scoring conditions. So for example, this card right here is worth 11 points if one of your gardeners is with a squirrel and has in their row and or column, anywhere in their 2 lines, 2 of these pavilions. So for example, if purple had this, with this token here, I have a squirrel with me, and I have 2 of these pavilions right here, so I could score this 11-point card. And it has to go to one of these gardeners. I cannot then make up those pavilions across 2 different gardeners. It has to be on one of them. And there's going to be different features and different animals required on these cards. You begin with 2, but through these symbols here, it is possible that you'll end up with more and possibly score more of them. So those are all the special abilities. When the game is over, you are going to score. And the way you score is as follows. Let me go ahead and put out some more cards out here, and I will explain how that goes. I'm going to do this, and I am going to reposition this person here just for the sake of my example there, and I am going to put this here. All right. Each of the 2 gardeners is going to score as follows. You are going to score yourself plus the number of animals here, so however many things are on your tile, in this case 1, 2, 3, times the rank of the column and the number of things times the rank of the row. What are these ranks? Well, you have to have trees of the same kind. A tree-lined avenue is 3 cards of the same type, worth 3 points. A good tree-lined avenue is 4. A great tree-lined avenue is 5, and so on. It keeps going up. So, for example, and this one's actually not done here, so I'll give him one more. And this gives me a chance to show you a fancy tree. Look at this one here. This card here with the shiny large tree in the center counts as 2 trees of that kind. So we're going to put that right there. Really help out his score there. All right, so this is going to count as 1, 2, 3. This is wild, so 4. This one's yellow, so 5. 5 times 1, 2, 3 gets me 15 for this. And then for this one, I have 1. This one's the same kind, so 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3 for 12 points. And I do that for both gardeners, and I score my special cards. That's basically all there is to it. Once you've scored both of your gardeners and your special scoring cards, you figure out your final score. You can use the back of your player aid here and your token to figure out your score, and whoever has the highest score, of course, is the winner of the game. The only other difference is if you are playing with 2 players, you are going to have 3 gardeners instead of just 2, and you will be having another one of these tokens. So you select twice. in a round. You'll have, a selection perhaps here and another white token that will go on another card at some point during that round. So there you go. That is how you play and how you score the Tree-Lined Avenue. All right, so that is the Tree-Lined Avenue here. A cute little game with a couple of issues that I am going to hopefully expand upon here in just a second. But I enjoyed my play of it. I don't know if it's one I'm gonna keep coming back to, but I think it's well produced and it is a neat looking little game with some thought to what's going on, more than you might suspect from just looking at the tiny little box. So starting from the top with the theme and the setting, I'm actually giving this one a thumbs down here. I think it's a beautiful setting. It's lush and welcoming and beautiful, but none of the mechanisms make any sense whatsoever. Not one of them. I can overlook some things being abstracted, but in this game it very much feels like everything is abstracted, to the point of nonsense too. So, for example, you're scoring a lane instead of a group of beautiful trees. Not sure why. Well, mechanisms is why. Scoring is why. But it doesn't really make any sense why you wouldn't want a beautiful sort of forested area as opposed to a path up and down or side to side. When you put out your gardener, animals flock to you. Why? Maybe if this had a druid theme, that might make sense. You're a druid in a forest, setting paths for weary travelers, having animals flock to you. That might have made a little more sense. As it is right now, doesn't really work out. The aesthetics, I think, are lovely. Great artwork, really good quality cards, nice linen finish cards. Everything looks, feels just right. The rule book here is the kind that folds out into a big floppy thing. One of these numbers, and then you have to fold that and fold it and fold it and get it down to the correct size. So don't love that, but it is well written, and everything I needed was in here. Didn't have any questions I cannot find the answers to. So thumbs up there. Replay value. It's okay. I think it's always pretty obvious what a good or a bad move is, and what your best move is. The only question then is, where do I want to go next round? Do I take the really, really obviously good card for me and go third next time, or do something worse and then just have a better, earlier pick next time? Which is an interesting decision. It is, a twofold decision. It's A or B, but it could lead to some interesting moments. However, there's really no discoverability here to be had after the first play. And like I said, the moves are quite obvious in the game. The game arc, I think, is good. I think having goals at the beginning of the game really helps this one out. If it was just score, the dude plus the animals times the lane and the column, there wouldn't be as much of a forward momentum sort of feel in the game as there is now. Now I have something I'm going for. It denotes I want to be with these squirrels. I want to have this kind of feature in my lane or column. So I'm going to target some things and value things differently based on those secret goals. It really helps the game out a lot. And you could end up getting more of those in the game. Ease of play. There's some trickiness with moving the animals and knowing and sort of explaining that rule. I had a little trouble with, mainly because, again, it makes very little sense. Why, when you put your little character out in the middle of this forested area, animals from way out there, a squirrel comes running to you, and then a deer from over here comes running to you. And then if you end up using one of the special abilities to move elsewhere, you can grab those two and carry them with you. But ease of play is largely very smooth. And then lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. It's okay. There are definitely some things to think about, as I've already explained. Some decisions to make. Generally very obvious decisions, but there are some things, some binary things to think about. But I found the scoring to be a bit of a letdown. It's nice and mathy. It's just kind of boring. Very been there, done that feel to the way this game ends up wrapping up. You know, the group, one group times another group, however, whatever the geometric configuration is something that has been just seen so much, and it's hard to ignore that this game mechanically is about 80% of a particularly well-known game, King Domino. King Domino is a big, award-winning, it's a game that's just very well known. This isn't like some other little game I've heard of that you haven't heard of. King Domino is everywhere. And this is, like I said, very much a King Domino style game. The drafting of those cards is straight up King Domino. The playing and the sort of, grid, lanes, and lines is not. But we've certainly seen that before in many games. So I guess at the end of the day, this game is just missing a little pizzazz for me. That would have helped with a lot of my issues. Would have helped with replayability. Might have helped with thematic integration if it was something else. Right now, it's very workmanlike. It works. It functions just fine. You're going to get some score. If you do the thing you're wanting to do, well, you get more points. Great. I just needed a little something more. I think the special abilities are fine. Some are interesting. Some not as interesting. Like the one that washes away some of the cards and you replenish some for next round. Not that interesting. Some of the other ones where you get to pick up and move, that's cool. I like that very much. Having an extra secret scoring card, very big deal, right? If you accomplish that, that could be another 14 points, 11 points, what have you. So those are a bit uneven, but they give you something to think about. The other thing I thought was strange when it comes to this sort of the tactics and the strategy in the game is somebody else could share your lane with you. And so you get stuck in these pseudo-cooperative moments in which if you help your score out, you're helping someone else out. If I keep growing this lane with those kinds of trees I'm going for, you showed up later, put your worker there, and now you're benefiting from all my hard work. I didn't really like that, and I wondered if there might be a way to exclude people from, if I place my character here, upon further placements from myself or anybody else, you can share a lane or column with me. Mathematically, I don't know if that would work out. But I just found the again, pseudo-cooperation that comes from that ability to work against the game. I don't want to help somebody else. I'm trying to do my own thing over here. So there you go. That's what I thought of the Tree-Lined Avenue. It's a soft recommend for me. If you really like King Domino, you like that mechanism, you want to try a different game that uses some of that, but has this theme. If you really like grid-based games, if you want something that's quick but still has some cleverness to it, some mathy scoring to it, then perhaps this is one you'll like. I think it's all right. And I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's an above-average little game, very well finalized here, that is just missing a little something to really put it over the edge for me and make it the kind of quick 20 to 30 minute card game that I will reach for over many others out there. As it is right now, I'll be happy to play it again. I just worry I'll forget about this one and it'll sort of be passed over as I'm finding something that fits this play type, play style, and time frame. So there you go, the Tree-Lined Avenue, 6 out of 10, folks. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Z Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.